Welcome to Allie's Attic, where you never know what kind of surprise you'll find in my attic. I'm your host, Allie, and today my surprise is a man who decided to start making music again after 25 years, thank God. Please welcome Whitty Whitesell. Hello, Whitty.
Hi, Ellie. How are you?
I am good. How are you today?
I'm great. It sure is a pleasure to talk to you.
Oh, nice to talk to you. I love your voice, by the way. Just wanted to
Well,
let
thank
you
you.
know. So let's start from the beginning. And you tell me your journey. So 25 years ago or so, you released 57 on Parasol Records, which received really great reviews, including 3.5 out of 4 stars on the Chicago Tribune. And then you stopped. So
Yes.
take us from there.
Sounds good. Well, just to kind of give a little bit of a preview, prior to that time, I was probably 24 or 25 at that time when I decided to go back to school. And I had really been playing live for over 10 years. I started playing live when I was 14 in clubs as a singer, guitar player, songwriter, and frontman for bands, and recording in the studio. And for a while, my brother and I owned a recording studio. We recorded and produced a lot of bands. Where I'm from is a college town, so there was always a good number of good bands around, and that allowed me to really get good in the studio. And then what had happened just prior to my deciding to take a break was I went down. I heard a recent interview that you did the other day. I can't remember the artist, where they talked about recording at Ardent Studios in Memphis, and I thought, wow, that's really interesting because that's where I recorded 57. Ardent's a huge studio. They had 3 studios in there, and I had recorded an EP when I was 18 that I played all the instruments on, and then and that was mastered at Ardent. And so I was familiar with the studio and went down to Ardent to record a full-length CD. That's where ZZ Top recorded Eliminator, and all kinds of country artists recorded there.
Mm-hmm.
While I was recording that record, the Gin Blossoms were recording their first record there.
Wow.
And so I hung out with those guys before they really made it. In fact, their record was re-released. It was released initially, and it didn't really do very well. But all of a sudden, it was re-released a year later, and Hey Jealousy became a college radio hit and everything. And so it was really interesting to watch that. And but nonetheless, I recorded this full-length CD with a backing band. So it was Whitty Whitesell on the Life Parade. And we had some label interest, in particular. Charisma Records was interested, but at that time, grunge was really sweeping the nation. Smells Like Teen Spirit had just become this massive hit.
Yeah.
So all the major labels wanted to sign the next grunge band, and I wasn't really doing that. So Charisma backed out, and so we released it on an internationally distributed indie label, and did a bit of touring, and played at CBGB's in New York. But I was really disheartened at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I had really as a youngster put everything I had into music, and pushed and was extremely ambitious, and learning a tremendous amount about production and marketing and live shows and all these things over the course of that 10 years. By the time I got into my mid-20s, I was engaged and then had become recently married, and it was just a time in my life where I was really, really disillusioned by the state of the music business.
Yeah.
And so it kind of really sent me into a bit of depression, and I just decided, this isn't healthy for me right now. And so I just sort of fizzled out of it, and started going back to school. Still did a little bit of recording stuff for a year or two, I went back to school and got a bachelor's and master's in writing, English, and then years later went on to law school to get a law degree. But I did that primarily because I really felt that I was chasing a dream, and no matter how hard I worked at it, or even if even if I were extremely talented, if I weren't doing exactly what was popular at the moment, like grunge, then it was going to be much harder to succeed. And I couldn't really see forcing my family to pay a price for me chasing my dream. And so it really felt like it was time for me to put that aside and focus on raising kids and everything that came with having
that
a family.
Yeah, it's like, you know what?
So
It's so unfortunate they do this cookie cutter thing. But anyways, continue.
well, to be honest, basically what that meant was becoming much more pragmatic and responsible. I mean, I had always been extremely ambitious and worked hard at it and everything else, but I didn't want to be out touring and things like that. I needed to be here with my family. And so I put all that aside and, I've worked a lot of different things, over the years. And most recently, I was working in the legal field and really started to feel a bit of the same way. I went to law school to really feel like I could do some good in the world, maybe make a difference. And as I got out, I realized that there are too many lawyers, first of all, so the pay isn't as great as people might think. And oftentimes, in order for somebody to make a decent living, I saw a lot of things going on that didn't really make me feel like I always admired the lawyers that I knew. I felt like they were not only well educated, but they had strong ethics. I know that's counterintuitive because people make fun of lawyers all the time.
Yeah.
I really felt like they had a strong commitment to justice and things like that. And I just kind of learned that oftentimes that wasn't the case. And one of the things that I say to people is when you go in to see the doctor, you want to believe that your doctor knows everything about what's going on with you physically. You don't want to think that he or she is human and might not be able to figure it out or might get it wrong and make a mistake. And the same is true with your lawyer. You don't want to go into you don't expect to see your lawyer and have a really important lifetime issue that you're dealing with. And you want to be able to trust that he or she really knows exactly what's best in that situation.
Definitely.
And so I kind of got to where I realized, wow, these are just people. They make mistakes. A lot of times they kind of shoot from the hip, they do the best they can, but they're working under pressure and working under time constraints. And so it was also a little bit disillusioning. And so I worked for a little while in education and marketing and things like that after working in the legal field. And during that period of time that I was working on marketing, I started to realize, I talked to my kids, some of my kids have gotten much older now, and they asked me questions about the old days when I was recording and touring and things like that, and really had a genuine interest in what I had done and what the experience was like. And I started realizing I had also did some family history research and figured out who some of my ancestors were and what their life stories were. And I realized, wow, this music that I've recorded is going to be handed down for generations, future generations. And I started thinking, all this time, this, 20, 25 years that I had taken off, I had still been playing and writing songs, which is really the therapeutic part of music for me, is writing songs.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that it was always fun to record it and really enjoyable, but I also kind of, I felt almost like every once in a while I needed to write a song, you know. So I had been playing and writing all this time, and I just thought, you know, I don't really want some songs that I had wrote and recorded when I was 20, 22 years old to be the last music that's passed down for future generations of my family.
Mm-hmm.
And so I
Well, yeah, and I'm
so I
glad.
decided to just my wife bought me a microphone and some recording equipment, and I started recording some of the newer songs that I had written that were more expressive of somebody in this stage of life,
Mm-hmm.
and took my time with it.
Well, I'm glad you did. Very, very glad you did.
And, well, then after I finished recording, I thought, well, I have these songs now. I have 10 songs that I recorded, and what do I do with it now? So I put together a website and put the songs up there for free, just for anybody who wanted to listen to them. And after I did that, I thought, well, now what do I do? And I had been working a little bit in promotion and social media and things like that, so I kind of knew the best ways to promote. And started doing a little bit of promotion on Twitter in particular.
Mm-hmm.
And something really clicked, and all of a sudden I was getting all these Twitter followers. And seeing the traffic really go way up on my website. So I thought, wow, this is pretty cool. You know?
Yeah.
Because I had no ambition at all. I just wanted to be creative, you know?
Yeah. That's a good thing. And I'm really glad you came back to it because your songs are amazing, as people will soon realize.
Well, thank you. And so after a while, I figured, well, maybe if there are this many people who are responding so well to this record that I put out, maybe I should do another one and maybe see if I can sell a few copies, you know. So I went ahead and recorded a follow-up record, which is the first record that I recorded about 4 or 5 years ago was called The Gift of the Middle, and it was basically, you know, a lot of people who have a midlife crisis, they go out and buy a sports car or something like that. Me, I record a record, right? So that's what was really going on there was
well, I like what you say. You said as you began recording, you realized the gift of living in the middle. Middle class, middle age, middle generation, middle child. When you stand in the middle, you have the best view of it all. That is one of the greatest things I've read in a while, let me tell you, because it's so true.
Yeah. Well, basically, that was the record that I put out then, and then after people started responding to that one, then I recorded the next one, and I thought, what am I going to call that?
Yeah, I guess that's...
Sorry, my throat's kind of dry. So
that's okay. I have a cold, so we're doing good.
Yeah. So I eventually decided that, you know, in many ways I'm beginning again in music, and I have a completely different perspective than I did, you know, back then. I'm much wiser. I've seen a lot more, and I don't have any delusions of grandeur, or you know, I know what I'm doing is not top 40, so I'm not going to like be a top 40 superstar, and that's becoming rarer and rarer these days anyway.
Yeah, it is. The music industry is changing so much, which is why I'm happy what I'm doing, because I get to interview all these indie artists that nobody has maybe heard of, and now there's indie labels, there's indie radio, so indie artists are the new way, I think, because you get to hear, like I said, music you've never heard, and it doesn't all sound the same, which I think music industry is realizing that, you know, just because this person sounds this way, you need another person that sounds the exact way, and it's, no, we want different, we want change.
Yeah, and you know what's really funny is uh, everything has been equalized quite a bit because nobody's buying music anymore, aside from people who buy vinyl, which I love vinyl, and I'm really happy to see that there's this resurgence of vinyl going on.
Mm-hmm.
But the major labels are struggling so badly, and even very successful artists like Stevie Nicks, they're saying, why would I release anything again? Because they're not going to make any money off of it. But that's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because it's a part of who I am, and I figure if I'm going to be doing it, I might as well be sharing it with people, and so that's kind of where I'm coming from with it. And I have been so pleasantly surprised because now I've got like 216,000 Twitter followers, and so it's really kind of taking on this natural momentum that I really didn't see coming. And I just signed a management deal with Indie on Air, a gentleman named Jeff Classic Popka, who was one of the founders of Texas Indie Fest at South by Southwest, and so he's located about halfway or a little over halfway between where I live in Central Illinois and Nashville. He lives in Evansville, Indiana. And I really like what he's doing because he's the same way that you're talking about indie artists and the importance that they play really in making new music as opposed to, the top 40, and the fact that there's no money in it at all anymore. So what Jeff has really done as his strong point has been in putting together these festivals, these live festivals. And I've because I have all this experience years ago owning a studio, back when my brother and I owned our studio and we produced all these bands, many of whom went on to major label deals, we were recording on the tape and we had a big board and everything. And I found when I started recording again, 5 or more years ago, that everything I knew translated perfectly to what I saw on the computer now. And, and so I was really able to get good results production-wise just recording at home. So I don't have any overhead in recording other than my time, and it's really a joy to do it. So it's really an interesting place to be where I don't really have any expectations. I enjoy what I'm doing. I'm just being creative and sharing it with people, and having more and more people, responding positively to it, and that's really kind of what it's all about.
Well, definitely, you want that response. It makes you more passionate about what you're doing because basically you are following one of your passions. So to have people jump on board and live that with you is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's funny because, I had reached a point where I was so down in my early 20s that I thought, man, the music I'm making does not matter at all. It doesn't matter to anybody. Nobody's listening to it. And, the labels aren't picking it up. And I just felt like it was a total waste of time to be creative at that point when I had a family to care for. And now I'm in the exact opposite place. I had to wrestle with that for a long time because, that was really my life's dream up until my early 20s. I was really pushing hard and had gotten further than most people get during that period of time, but really depressed by the state of the music business at that time.
Yeah.
Now I have no expectations, so it's all upside. I don't feel like my music's going to change the world, but if there's one person out there that listens to a song and says, "Wow, I can really relate to that," then that's what it's all about. Because I love making it. Like I said, writing the songs is therapeutic for me, and recording it is a lot of fun. And if somebody else can hear that, and it can have have a reaction to it, then that's just kind of the icing on the cake.
Yeah, definitely. Now, your new album is called Passion of a Seasoned Rookie.
That's right. Yeah, I I was meant to mention that earlier, and
I know, it's
wanted
okay.
on
That's why I
topic,
brought
which
it
I
back.
couldn't do. But when I got the second record done, I thought, in many ways I'm beginning again, and these are really just this is what I love doing, so it's my passion. And so in many ways I'm kind of like a rookie and a newcomer to music, but I also, have been around. I have a lot of experience in music before, and I've had a lot of experience outside of the music business as well. So this is just a part of what I do. In fact, I would say that it's not the primary focus of my life. Since we moved back we were living in Southwest Florida, and we moved back to Central Illinois to be close to my in-laws and my mother. My dad passed away while I was living in Florida, and
Sorry for your loss.
we really came back to be close to them because they're in their 70s now.
Mm-hmm.
And so the cost of living is so much less here that we've really just kind of reduced our cost of living to the point where I'm at home now, and our two youngest kids are 5 and 8.
Oh.
And I'm homeschooling them, and my wife is helping her parents with a business that they run, and so that way I've just gotten to the point. As I did that family research, I realized that the men in my family, no matter how far back I found, they never lived past their 60s.
Oh wow!
The oldest, there was only one who lived to be 71. And so I thought, man, that's not a very good track record for me. I'm in my late 40s now. Mm-hmm. It's time for me to retire. I got to find a way to retire and do what I want to do and do what's meaningful in life. I also had, my dad passing away had a big impact on me. And I really wanted to be able to be here for my two youngest kids and slow down the pace of life a little bit and create. And the great thing about music is, I've seen so much in my life, and I see how much struggle and pain there is in the world. And making music is, a desire to not only is it therapy for me, but it's a way you can make the world a little more beautiful than it was. Just to make some music, and if people like it, great. If they don't have to listen.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of a natural part of who I am after all these years. I started playing the guitar when I was 8 years old, so I kind of have to do it, and it's just kind of a part of what I'm doing now.
Of who you are.
That is interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I love your story. Now, because you were in the industry when the heyday started, and record labels were happening and people were signed and huge concerts and everything. You've experienced that. Now you're experiencing this. So if you had any advice to give any new artist that was starting out, Whitty, what would it be?
I recently was asked this question, and it's as simple as you can imagine, and that's just love making music. Mm-hmm. Make it a part of who you are. Don't have any expectations. Just love making the music, and everything else is upside. Then it'll be a good experience, because if you're thinking that you're going to, be this superstar, or you're going to get rich doing it in the business today, and then you're setting yourself up for a big disappointment, because that's beyond rare at this point. So just love making the music, and you'll get to meet a lot of people and have fun doing it. And I also wanted to mention, after we had connected through email and social media, I read a little bit about your story and all the adversity that you've overcome in your life. And really that you're kind of doing the same thing. You're passionate about your experience in years past with radio, and doing something personal and meaningful, that you hope people will find value it, but that you're certainly going to enjoy doing. And I really wanted to talk with you. I've had quite a few interviews recently, which is kind of strange. But
That's a good thing.
I really wanted to talk with you in particular because I think that your story is so amazing. You know, you've been through so much in your life. And so I think you have a great deal of wisdom to share with people who would tune in and listen to not only the artists and the people that you're interviewing, but your own story as well.
Well, thank you. You're the first person that's ever said that. You're making me tear up here. Yeah, it is my passion, which is why any indie artist, musician, author, anybody, if they want to come on, I think I offer a great platform. And it's fun for me because I get to, meet these people, not meet them, but talk to them and discover them and discover their art and their craft. And it's amazing. And I'm at a point in my life where this is what I want to do. Coming up with the idea blows me away that I've still done it. But I feel the same.
It's really interesting. I don't mean to interrupt you, but
no.
It's so similar what you're doing and what I'm doing.
Yeah,
that's what because you have this experience from years of working in radio, and you have knowledge, and now there's these new formats that we can use, YouTube and social media to promote it ourselves. So we can do this the way that we want to do it, and do it because we love doing it. And all of a sudden, it catches on, and people are like, "Wow, this is a genuine person, who's been through a lot of life experiences, who has something to say." And oddly enough, we're about the same age and everything, and we've been through a lot of similar things in that regard. And so I think that I really, really hope that your show does well. It seems like you're doing well. You're just getting started, but I'm actually pretty optimistic. I think that you're going to have a lot of fun doing it, and you'll be pleasantly surprised as more and more people tune in and check it out.
Well, thank you very much, Whitty. That is very kind of you to say. And yeah, that's why I think I loved your story, because of your journey. And I also love your music. So it was like hand in hand having you come on, and I am so honored that you said yes. And thank you. I mean, I'm optimistic as well. And my favorite saying is, dreams don't work unless you do. So I'm working. So are you.
Yeah.
So are you.
I mean, again, I encourage you at this wise age to not to put too much emphasis on, this elusive idea of success.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy the ride. The journey is what it's all about. And
Mm-hmm.
right now we're both in a change in our journey where we've kind of gotten back into something that we're passionate about. And I think that you said that you were interested in playing a couple of songs of mine, and there are a couple of the two songs that you're talking about are both available as music videos on my website.
Mm-hmm.
So people can certainly check out my website whenever it's convenient, and I am certainly going to let people know about this interview and other interviews you've done.
Well, thank you very much. The two songs I'm going to be playing are Painted Ancient Fears and Live My Days. And your website is whitty.bz or BZ, however you want to say it. It will be on my website, and it will link directly to your website. So when people go on my site, they can just click on it and it'll take them right to you. So that'll be up there. And you actually, I was speechless there for a minute. I've never had anybody say that to me about anything about my show. So thank you. I totally, totally appreciate it. And I hope both of us get to enjoy this ride for a number of years. And I know I'm not going to be, Carson Daly or anybody like that. But I mean,
But
Like,
you don't need to be, and you probably
no,
don't want to be. You
no,
know.
no, I don't. And I like doing it at my own pace, just like you do. And, I'm my own
Yeah.
boss. I mean, making a little bit of money of it here and there, yeah, great. But yeah,
Sure.
I don't think that I'm going to be, massive. I mean, I wish I could be Howard Stern, but yeah, I'd probably lose my mind. Um, Whitty, thank you. Thank you for your kind words. First off, like, thank you
Oh,
so much.
well, thank you. It's really an honor to talk to you because, I truly value people who are doing this because they love what they're doing, and that's what I see.
Well,
I see that you love what you're doing. You have this knowledge. You have this background. You've been through a lot, so I really hope that you enjoy this and have great success.
well, thank you. Same to you. I mean, same to you, definitely. And I'm really, really happy that you're part of this journey now because you're a sweetheart. Like, thank you very, very much. And
Well, thank you.
thank you so much for coming on my show, Whitty. And thank you, like I said, for the kind words. And I'm urging everybody to visit the website. You will be able to click on it and go right to it and listen to both of his, like, you have songs from The Gift of the Middle on there as well.
Yeah, actually, the whole record is free.
Yeah.
That whole record is free to download, so you can download that and take it on your iPod or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
or you can listen to it in streaming. And then there are so far a couple of songs off the new record that are available to watch the videos there, and I'll be doing more.
Awesome. Awesome. If any new thing happens, anything you want to share with me, you know how to get a hold of me. This isn't a one-shot deal. I've had artists come back on. I've had artists just send me, a new single that they've come out with, and I throw it up on a page on my site called Odds and Ends. I just actually put one up there. So that's available. And yeah, keep in touch. And I hope, the rest of your journey is as fun as this journey is for me. I mean,
Absolutely.
it sounds like it is. So
Now, one thing I should mention to you, I don't know, I've never been to South by Southwest, but it really is kind of the event of the year for the music industry, where a lot of bands perform and they have a film and things like that. And because the Jeff who is managing me now started Texas Indie Fest, which is an indie fest, and he started it several years ago, and it grows every year. So this year it's going to be 4 days over the course of South by Southwest in Austin, Texas. And it's all indie bands at this one location, the Red Shed Tavern. And so if I don't play live before then, I'll be playing live there. And I think that's in March. I believe I'm playing on a Friday night, I think is what he said. So if you happen to be down there, stop by and say hello. And I imagine a lot of the indie artists that you will be interviewing now, or you have interviewed or will be interviewing, will be at South by Southwest in some capacity. So hopefully you can make it down there.
Oh, that would be fantastic. I'm not sure if I can. Canada, there's a little crazy right now. But yeah, that would be amazing. That would be such an experience. It would be kind of a dream come true. Hopefully I can. And if not, all the best to you. And I hope you have a blast because it sounds like so much fun. And the networking will be amazing.
Sure. And I think Jeff told me that the entire weekend is broadcast live on Fish Creek Radio, which I believe is an online.
I think I'm following them. I will check and make sure. Fish Creek Radio. I will check and make sure. I think I am, but I'll make sure that I am because I would love to see the artists or hear the artists that they're playing. Because then I can maybe ask them if they want to come on my show if they haven't been. Thank you for that information too. My goodness, this has been a great interview.
Yeah, and I actually maybe after a day or two, when things calm down a little for you, after you get this interview taken care of, then I'll email you the names of some individuals that I've met through Twitter. Because the crazy thing is, when you start getting this Twitter thing happening and you have over 200,000 followers, you meet so many people. So I've met so many incredible musicians throughout the world that really are unknown or, just starting to become known. So I'll give you some names there too, and hopefully that can help them.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. I'm booking now November 21st on. I can't believe how I book like crazy now. It's insane and I love it. But yes, please, please, please send me as many artists as you can. Um, Thank you once again. My goodness, I'm glad that you came on my show. You have a great day and all the best to you. And like I said, keep in touch, send me those names and let me know what's happening with you. Um, and you will hear what's happening with me because you have me on Twitter. And like I said, Whitty, thank you so much for coming on my show.
Oh, thank you very much. It's really been an honor, and I wish you all the best.
Same to you. And thank you for joining me on Allie's Attic. Keep checking my website because you never know what kind of surprises, neither do I, you'll find in my attic. Cheers.